Hi everyone and welcome to Wing It Wednesdays, the cook and chat show where I talk about life as a food blogger while cooking something up and having the occasional existential crisis. And today I'm talking about 5 fake influencers you may come across during your time on social media while making this rather crazy hot chocolate bubble tea with matcha cream. Spoiler alert! I am one of these fake influencers. Stay till the end of this video to find out which one. Now, some are easier to spot than others depending on how much time you spend with anyone with any kind of social media following in general, and we are everywhere these days, so even if you yourself aren't on social media that much, you're likely to know someone who is. And some are more harmless than others depending on whether their dishonesty is for personal gain or not, and if it affects the trust between brands, influencers and their audience. So without further ado, here are 5 fake influencers you may come across on social media. Number 1. The curator influencer. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about the ability to buy followers and likes on social media by now, whether they are on social media or not. But there's actually another side to this that I've never seen anyone talk about before. Let's start with the most well-known one, the influencer that buys followers and/or likes. You can easily see them doing it by typing their usernames into an analysis website like Social Blade and seeing their follower count fluctuate wildly on the daily, one day gaining 10,000 subscribers or followers overnight, and then the day after losing almost as many. You can also somewhat see this through the engagement on their page. Have they got hundreds of thousands of followers, thousands of likes but only 1 or 2 comments? Now let's talk about the less well-known version of the curator. The one that gives genuine followers the boot if they deem them not useful. Yes, this is a thing, and I didn't know it was a thing until relatively recently when I was searching for a better way to get rid of rogue bot followers on my own Instagram account without having to go through my list of followers and look them up one by one. I came across a thread on Reddit asking how to get rid of inactive followers, and as I read through the thread, I discovered that they didn't just mean fake bot followers. They meant actual real people who don't like, comment or otherwise interact with your content. And the more I read, the more people I found were only too happy to remove people following them who didn't boost their engagement rate statistics and potentially hurt their chances of working with brands. Cold, right? Because I've been on Instagram for such a long time now, a lot of my oldest followers are friends and family who don't really use the platform much anymore. Although I do personally know a couple who do see my posts and then chat to me about it in real life. And some of my closest friends follow me but don't interact much with my posts because they don't use Instagram as obsessively as I do. The thought of forcing them to unfollow me just because they potentially make my engagement rate look bad makes me feel incredibly sad. And the thought of trying to guilt them into engaging, as some of the people on this thread were also suggesting, feels just as bad. Number 2. The inauthentic influencer. I've already done a whole video about influencer authenticity, which I'll link above in the info cards and down below, so I'll keep this one short. The inauthentic influencer is the one who's on social media with the sole aim of becoming an influencer, rather than the aim of creating content about what they love. They're the kind of influencer that has given the word influencer such a negative veneer, to be honest. And the influencer that asks for free samples without actually caring for the brand or the story behind the product, or the influencer who posts about something that they don't even really like or believe in just because it's content to them, because they were paid to do it or given a free thing to do it, the influencer who poses next to a flash car parked on the street that isn't actually theirs, the influencer who buys an ice cream to pose with and then throws the ice cream away, etc, etc. God, I hate that last one with a personal vengeance as a food blogger. I hate food waste, and I hate people who waste food on purpose. And I've seen other so-called food bloggers do this kind of nonsense with my own eyes. It's infuriating, but also all too common. A little less insidious but equally annoying inauthentic influencer is the social climber, who tries to boost their own following by buttering up influencers with slightly bigger followings only to dump them for the next biggest influencer if the day ever comes that they surpass them. Of course, this is a problem with every industry, not just the influencer industry, but it's still an annoying one, and one of the reasons why I don't meet other food blogger peers as often as I used to. There are so many lovely people out there, but it only takes one snake in the grass to ruin the experience. And I hear people say how nice food influencers are, particularly newer food bloggers, at least in comparison to the beauty community, and to that I say, be careful who you trust. You might feel safe from drama and toxicity if you're not in the beauty community, but the ugly truth is, we're all human beings no matter what community we're in, and as a species, we human beings are, yeah. So yes, be kind but be careful. Number 3. The secret business influencer. These are influencers who don't disclose ads or free PR samples on their posts. For small influencers, it's mostly a problem of lack of authenticity and misleading their followers by appearing to endorse something off their own bat, rather than because they've been paid to do it. But for the big ones, it could also be a form of tax evasion. After you earn a certain amount, £1,000 in the UK for example, you have to start paying income tax on your earnings. And this includes earnings from paid ads on social media. This is one of the reasons why advertising standard bodies are so hot on influencers properly declaring which posts are adverts. I don't really need to go into too much detail about it, it's pretty self-explanatory. Not disclosing payment or some kind of exchange is misleading at best and fraud at worst. Number 4. The I'm not an influencer. Also known as the I'm not like other influencers influencer, this could be split into 2 camps. The one where they just don't like the negative associations that come with the word influencer, so they try to distance themselves from it, and the one who secretly likes the idea of being an influencer and wants to get on top by tearing everyone else down. Here's my 2 pennies worth. If you're doing something on a public platform with the intent of showing people the things you're passionate about, conveying a message or entertaining people, you are an influencer. Instabaddie? Influencer. YouTube chef? Influencer. Popular weatherman on TV? Influencer. Pop star? Influencer. It's just a word to convey the fact that you're a person that some people see and take inspiration from, no matter how big or small. It's not an inherently bad thing, and I think we should all start just owning the term. Number 5. The I don't care about numbers influencer. These influencers are the ones that say I don't care about numbers, I never think about them, and give advice like numbers don't matter, just keep doing what you're doing and enjoy yourself. They're either casual users or ones with consistently high stats. But as soon as there's a shift in the algorithm or a change in user behaviour and their engagement drops, they're the first to panic about it. Of course people care about numbers. Human beings need validation, and social media validation is one heck of a drug. Anyone who says they don't care about numbers is lying to their followers or to themselves. Even the ones who swear that they'd still be doing what they're doing without the current success they're enjoying. I don't doubt that they would carry on because I have and would. But they darned well would feel that pain of losing validation. So which of these 5 fake influencers am I? The answer is... Number 5. I'm breaking the cycle of denial and exposing myself right here, right now. The more I'm on social media, the more I post on Instagram and the more my numbers go up, the harder it is when I suddenly get a month or 2 when not as many people are following me as usual, or people stop commenting on my posts as often, or when I spend a lot of time, love and energy to take the perfect shot only for people to scroll by without liking it. It's hard, it bothers me, and I know I'm not alone. By pretending to be above numbers, you're unwittingly making it seem as though if numbers do affect you, you're shallow and inauthentic. So even more people hide the mental strain numbers put on them, and then they demonise people who admit that they do get down about it, and then absolutely everyone's under pressure to prove that they're the chillest, authenticest, okay that's not a word, influencer to ever exist, when everyone's actually just faking this mentally. And that's just absolutely bonkers. I think that the more people are honest about how numbers mentally affect them, the more authentic we can actually be. Thanks for watching and or listening. I hope you enjoyed today's video and found something in it useful, and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Find the full recipe for this hot chocolate bubble tea on my blog tashcakes.com, and find me on Instagram as tashcakestastes. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Comment down below if you'd like me to talk about anything in particular, and I'll see you guys later. Stay safe, be nice, and have a good week.